With Storyline's new 360-degree image feature, you can transform any 360-degree image into an immersive learning experience. You can also add interactive elements such as hotspots, markers, and triggers to engage learners as they explore and navigate your interaction. Let's take a look at how it works. Okay, so I'm starting here in Storyline, and to add a 360-degree image, just head on up to the Insert tab on the ribbon, and you'll see right here we have 360-degree image beta. So public beta means that we are still working on this feature, but it's getting close, and we wanted you to be able to get your hands on it and start using it because it is a fantastic interaction. So I'm just going to click the icon, navigate to an image. I've got one here on my desktop, and then just click open. Now, once the 360-degree image is on your slide, it's really just like any other object. At this point, you can move it around, you can scale it, transform it, you can put objects above or below it. Let me undo that, right? So we could resize it. We don't have to have it fill the entire slide. And then, of course, you can layer additional objects on it here in the timeline. When you're ready to edit the image, just select the image, and you'll see the Edit 360-degree Image button. Click that, and that brings us into the image editor. So at this point, we have an immersive image. If I preview this real quick by just previewing this particular slide, right, just click this, the image will be fully immersive. You can click and drag up and down to see everything in the image. But there's no interactions here right now. We haven't added any interactive objects, but we could still explore all of this image by just clicking and dragging here on our slide. Let's go ahead and just add those interactive objects. So begin by adding either a marker or a hotspot. And if you look up here on the ribbon, we have two types of interactive objects. We have the marker and the hotspot. So we'll start with the marker. I'm just going to click it and then click anywhere here on the slide. So you see that we have a marker with a label, which is similar to the label graphic interaction. So we can add a quick title here, Visit Our Lobby. And then we can add some descriptive text here for the label as well. Whoops, there we go. Now we can customize the marker, the color, the icon, and we can do that by just coming back up to the marker tab, and you'll see that we have an icon option. So you have some ready-made icons here. If you like those, just click any one of them, or you can even search Content Library for additional icons. I'm just going to click the default, let's say maybe the magnifying glass, and you can see that updates down here immediately on the marker. Head on up, and you can also change the accent color. Now these accent colors come from your theme colors, so any color in your current theme, that'll be available right here. Choose the green, and again, you can, even if though we've added this to the slide, we can still move this, all around and find the ideal place for that marker. Now you can also see that we have the marker over here for the title. This pulls in the title of the label, but you could always double click this to give this a different title. Now we can also add media to our labels. So if you select the marker and you come up to the media tab here on the ribbon, we can add an image, video, or audio. So if we add a picture, we can also add audio, but if we add video, then it's just that element. So let's say we bring a picture in from Content Library. We'll bring in just an image. So that'll get added, and you can also then follow this up with maybe some audio. So we could do an audio from file. We could record the microphone real quick. So we'll say, check out our remodeled lobby to see all of the improvements. That was fairly quick. Click save, and then we get the audio under the image. Now, if you add a video, then you could have to remove the video and the image and the audio, but the video will be by itself. So that's really cool. Great way to add media to your markers. All right, let's look at the hotspot this time. So we'll come up to the ribbon again, and this time under marker tab, we'll just choose hotspot, and then just click and drag to draw out a rectangle. Now you can use the rectangle shape, or you can select each of the points and you can modify or resize those points to create a freeform selection. So if we wanted to select this wall art, this mural right here along this wall, we can click and drag to set those points. So the nice thing about the hotspot is that you get this larger area to click. So if you had a wall, for example, or a surface on the ground, that you wanted the learner to interact with, you're not limited to just the smaller marker size. You can fill up the entire wall right here. And just like with the marker, we can click it and add our label titles. So we'll say wall art and then enter body text here. So just like with the marker as well, we can add media. So this time we can put in a video file. So go to the media tab on the ribbon, video, and I'll just choose something here from Content Library. This stock video right here, the stock video illustration. Now you can see the videos here on the slide, but we can't add a picture or an audio file, and that's just how this works. Okay, so we also have the ability to customize the color of the hotspot if you wish to show it. So with the hotspot selected, come up to the ribbon, and this time click the Interaction tab. And so for the hotspot, we can choose a different color here. And again, just like with the markers, all of our colors are coming from our theme colors. So if you want a green color, you can choose that. And you also have the option to control whether or not the hotspot pulses, if it hasn't been visited, if it hasn't been clicked, or also to include this green or blue or whatever colored shape that you have for that hotspot. So let's take a look at how this works. You'll see that I'll leave those enabled, which is the default setting, and then let's just preview our slide. So preview. And so a couple things, you'll see that the rectangle has that pulsing square on it, as well as the marker. So if we click any of these, it pops open. There's our image. We can listen to our text. Now, notice how the image, the marker no longer has that pulsing. Same thing with the hotspot. So when I click it once, we have the video, and the video is going to, just like the image, is going to appear in the larger size. And then if I return, notice how they don't have that pulsing. If you don't want the pulsing effects, you can turn those off, and you can also turn off the shading or that colored rectangle that indicates where the hotspot is. I'm going to close out of my preview, and let's start with the rectangle. So under the hotspots, you can choose to remove the pulsing if you like, and also remove the reveal hotspots. So nothing will happen here. Even when I hover over it, I won't see that rectangle. And then the same thing for the marker. If you don't want that pulsing for the unvisited, you can turn those off. Now, real quick, you'll see we have the theme options here for light and dark. This ties into your modern player. So you have the darker color or the lighter. So everything is unified across your content, across your slides. Now, also, lastly, we have this edit initial view. So this default image right here is what we see because that's the way the image was processed. But if we wanted to change a different view, maybe to this initial outdoor view, this front door, just click edit, and you'll see now we have this little camera focus lens right here. Just click and drag to set whatever initial view you want, and this is the view that the learners will see when they first load the image. If you like it, click set. If you want to reset it, you can click the reset button. I like that. I'm going to click OK or set. And now if I were to preview this, that front door, that view is what we'll see when the slide first begins. Pretty cool, right? And then we have to go hunt for or explore for our objects. And there's our wall art, and then somewhere over here we have our magnifying glass marker. Down here we see that 1 of 2 have been viewed. If you don't want to show that progress, we can disable that as well. I'll click my marker, and I have 2 of 2 enabled. I'm going to click close right there. Now let's look at how triggers work with our interactions. So we can add, let's just say add another marker right here by the door. Just going to click in there, and we'll say working with triggers. And I'll just leave the body right off of that. So you see that over here we have the different objects that we've added to our 360-degree image. If I wanted to rearrange these so that different objects appeared earlier or later in our interaction, we can do that. And then there's our working with triggers, which is in our default view. Now, if you look over here on the right, we have our triggers panel. I'm going to click open the first trigger and add a trigger. We don't have all of the triggers that we have in normal slide view, but we have the triggers that we need. Now, we haven't added any slide layers, so if I wanted to show a layer, I can click under layer and then choose to insert a new layer, and that'll insert a new layer on the base layer. I like creating my layers first and then coming in here and adding my triggers. So I'm going to cancel out of here. And I like the way this is going so far, but I'm just going to save what I've been working on. I'm going to click Save and Close. That's going to take me now back to my normal slide view. If you look down here in the bottom right corner, we have just a single layer. That's our base layer. Just like any other slide, we can add a new layer, and we'll call this Working with Triggers, which is that initial view that we set. And again, just design this any way you like, right? If you wanted to have something come off to the side, you can do that. You can add, a character. Maybe a character would be kind of fun right here. And we'll just have her facing left, right? So however you want to set this up, this is just like any other slide layer. Probably want to add a way for the learner to close this. So we could say just a button up here. We'll make this red. And when the learner clicks this button, we'll make that a close hide layer real quick. So there's my X when the user close layer, hide layer when user clicks oval 1. Perfect. And that just gets us back to our 360-degree image. So I'm going to return to the base layer, and once again we're going to edit the image. And now if we add that trigger, we'll see that layer as an available option. So I'm going to select the marker, new trigger, and we'll say show slide layer, right? And we'll show that working with triggers slide layer we created when the user clicks working with triggers. Click OK, and we'll preview. So this is really working like any other interaction or object that you have. You're going to click a button, and it pops open a layer, and then you have a way to close out of it here. So a couple things here. Notice that the label is still visible. You have a lot of different ways to tackle this. I'm going to close out of here. One thing you could do if you are going to show a lot of slide layers, for example, is not show that label at all. So with that marker selected, you come up here to the ribbon, and we can just turn off the label altogether. And so this is true also for the hotspots. So now we won't see the marker's label because we are popping, popping open a slide layer with that image. So I'll preview it one more time. And now when we click this, we'll see the slide layer. And you can have that animate in and do really anything you would with any other slide layer. I'm going to click close, and then we can continue exploring our image. All right, so there's a big picture view of the 360-degree images. There's a lot more you can do, but I want you to get your hands on it, start playing with it. And if you have any questions, as always, just jump into the forums and you can ask for some assistance there, and we'll all be glad to help you out. Hope you enjoy this amazing new feature for Storyline 360.